Hey, welcome back to Reamp Your Business podcast. I am your host, Roger Prevo, and I have the one and only Zack Srisauy. He is one of the top realtors on social media in Dallas, Texas, and he specializes in hot new homes in the Metroplex area and relocation. How are you, Zack?
Roger, I'm good, bro. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. Always excited to talk business, talk real estate, and talk life, man. I love getting to do this. And yeah, I know we connected briefly, but getting to see your face, getting to be on the show. And I know you have some questions for me about overall real estate, overall Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. So ask away, brother.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, first and foremost, what tell me a little bit more about like yourself. Like how did you get started doing this? Like becoming a realtor and doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, okay. So as far as real estate is concerned, man, I mean, I've always had an interest in it growing up. Um, as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, because I'll back up, I grew up in a family restaurant business. My family are all immigrants. They came, I'm actually not even first generation. I was born in Thailand. I just kind of start from there. My family moved here when I was 3 years old. Mom and dad worked two jobs each. And let's see. So I'm getting notifications, man. I should mute that real quick. Put on D&D. All right. So, grew up in a family household, four siblings, and mom, dad were never really home, and they started a restaurant business, entrepreneurship, American dream, right? And so I grew up. I was 12 years old when I started working at the family restaurant, and that whole thing kind of led me down this path of being a business owner, being very, very business minded, and having to take those kind of responsibilities just growing up into the business. I knew at that point I didn't want to do anything else besides own some kind of business. And that kind of led me to, go through college, having Asian parents. They're like, you got to graduate college, you got to go to school, you got to do this, the beaten path, right? And so that was kind of the whole thing. Did school in 4 years, got a job at the office when Lexus, Toyota Motor National Corporation, moved from Torrance, California to Plano, Texas, kind of the headquarters where everything at. If y'all are moving to Plano, Frisco, that's where the area that I actually work in real estate. So I started my career off there. Did a white collar job for about a year. Like I said, it was dreadful, awful. I mean, just it's the most soul sucking thing. For you thinking about starting a business out there, do it. I mean, it's the most rewarding thing in the world, right? But going back to it, I mean, it was just crazy, man, because I did that, stopped working corporate, or kind of retired my degree, so to speak, and then yeah, just traveled for a little bit, and my dog is barking now, so I'm gonna try to see if I can shut that door, make it a little better for y'all. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
As you can see, you gotta adjust to your environment, right? Like no matter what you're doing, you always got distractions. But yeah, man, started traveling for a little bit, came back, did a little, jobs here, few jobs here and there, kind of managed the family business, right? Did marketing. I graduated with a marketing degree, started training to become a flight attendant I think like 2020, and then COVID went crazy, laid everybody off. Couldn't do that anymore. And then started pursuing my real estate degree and met my business partner Laura, who you've had a chance to talk to, um, and we just hit it off, started doing business together, and lo and behold, I started hitting Instagram really, really hard. There's a story behind that too, but man, it gets pretty long winded. I feel like I've shared a lot about my life, but as far as real estate's concerned, man, I mean, and I saw the people doing social media very well, especially on YouTube. I knew that the Instagram platform was really fruitful, but I knew for a fact that I wanted to do business that way because I was very digital marketing heavy. And I knew if there was somebody else that was doing it, I could do it too. So I started consistently posting every single day, content for people that people actually wanted to see, consume, without, basically my whole philosophy was, how do I make myself, um, make myself produce things that people actually want to see and market myself as a realtor without being an annoying pain in the ass, right?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and so, got a couple videos out, it was super crazy, I mean, just bad, right? It was terrible, like, I was cringing watching myself on camera, watching myself do the videos, and then, it just took consistency, and then about a month later, I started getting more comfortable with it. I was maybe making a video a week, and then, at a certain point, I told myself I'm gonna, like, triple down on it and start doing it every day, and now we're about, a year and a half, 2 years into making videos, and that's just the core part of my business.
Wow. Wow. So this all started like when you came here from Taiwan?
Thailand.
Thailand.
Thailand is Southeast Asia, right below Vietnam and Laos.
So Thailand when you were 3 with your family. Uh, so they came here and then opened up a restaurant?
Yeah, there were 2 jobs for many years. I would say 6, 7 years. We had a family of 5 kids who 4 of us were born in Thailand. My youngest sister was born here, but they didn't really have a lot. They came here with, their coat, backpack, and 4 kids, and they worked 2 jobs at a time. My brother raised me. And yeah, I mean, saved up enough money to start a really small hole in the wall restaurant. And now with my aunt and my mom combined, we have just about a dozen Thai restaurants in the Metroplex.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. Wow. So they're also like they also share that mindset where they like entrepreneurship mindset.
To be honest, for them, it was just to survive. Because working 2 jobs for, 2 people at a time while trying to raise 5 kids, it was just unsustainable. For immigrants, and I think a lot of, first generation people can relate. It was like entrepreneurship was what they didn't really know entrepreneurship or being a business owner. They knew how to cook Thai food and they knew how to cook Thai food well. And then, after so many years, you just build an audience or a customer base similar to any business, even real estate.
Wow. 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 So you okay, so that's where you got the inspiration from, and that's why you're here now. Okay, so marketing degree. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you think that played any role in you being so like heavily focused on marketing, figure out that how important it is to market?
When I started pursuing a marketing degree, I had no idea what marketing was. I just knew that I had to put something on a sheet of paper whenever I started whenever I started going to college.
Wow.
And it just so happened that it fit right in with what I wanted to do here moving forward. But realistically, I mean, it was just so I could get through college, and marketing seemed like something that wasn't so, you know, I mean, it was just something that it seemed interesting, and I knew I wanted to get into business. And so, it was like a math degree, economics, like accounting, and then there was like marketing, which is kind of like flashier. So it's like, all right,
It is last year.
yeah, yeah. And like growing up, I mean, yeah, I did all the design, menu design, marketing, website creation, all these things for the restaurant, and it just made a little bit more sense to do that. In while I was getting education, etc.
Wow. I mean, how was it in college with the marketing? Was it easy or?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily easy. I would just if college is, it's time consuming, and you've got to really dial into like being intentional about just passing your classes, because I mean that's just all there is to it, right? You build and what college was for me was building the work ethic to be able to like learn how to learn, have the like it was all about skill building rather than knowledge. Like I didn't it's not like I went to marketing school and was like a master at Instagram, you know what I mean? I went to school so that I could learn more about myself, about how I learned, put myself in an environment where like I had to learn to be successful in that environment. And in that, I think that's really where kind of like my work ethic, just kind of like building out a schedule, good at, building, good and bad habits, habits in college that you learn. I mean, whether it's, being really good at drinking beer or just everything else, like actually, showing up to class after, having an all night binger after not studying for an exam or, being given 2 weeks and doing it 12 hours before. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Like you just kind of build these things that you learn how to navigate life more effectively.
Crazy. Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So college degree, you worked a white collar job, and then you said, so what? So you said you were in flight training, right? So how happened? How did it go from college, white collar job to flight training, and now becoming a realtor? Like, what happened?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So I mean, there's definitely some gaps and gray areas that I didn't mention between college and getting, that real estate license. But from my like recent memory of just after graduating college, and it really is true. Like after you graduate college, you start to you start to realize that the year is just kind of like literally blink right before your eyes, right? You could like sleep, wake up, and it's a year later because you're not actively pursuing something, and your days feel shorter because you're not intentional with it. In college, you got like friends, and you do so many things in one day or 1 week, and it feels like you're like like the more things you do, the longer the days are. But after I graduated, I started working that white collar job, and I swear 1 year went by so fast just because it was like you wake up, you do the same thing, you sleep, you rinse, and you repeat. And so I went from doing marketing for, Toyota, National Motor Corporation, to actually Lexus is their luxury brand. And so I worked for Lexus actually. I just didn't like it, man. It was very, I feel like I was investing too much time into something that wasn't sustainable. Like if I were to leave, I would start from scratch. And so coming from an entrepreneurship perspective, I just knew that I wanted to devote my time into something that was going to be more brand building and long term from a time investment perspective. But then you asked me about flight attendant stuff, right? So between quitting Toyota, traveling for a little while, went to Thailand, went to a few places, just kind of did the whole thing. Like after college, tried to live my life a little bit. And I worked, as in the restaurant business for a while, going back to the family business. Then I realized I want to do something else, get more experiences. So I started applying for random jobs. And one day, the American Airlines called me back, and it was a really cool opportunity. I mean, got to go to flight attendant training, which was a total of 6 weeks. 5 weeks in, vice president training comes in and says, "Hey, we got to get rid of you guys because COVID's getting real nasty."
Wow.
And so, laid everybody off. But in hindsight, man, like looking back, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Wow.
Really.
Wow. What a perspective change now, you know. I mean, I guess you were probably upset. Were you upset about that? Like the day of, or like when that was happening?
Bro, that was like flight attendant training was in Fort Worth. I live in Dallas, Fort Worth. Like, I'll give you perspective. I was 35 minutes away from the training center. 95% of people flew in from all over the country and like all over the world. Like there's people from Ukraine that came to flight attendant training that after 5 weeks of no payment, leaving their job, leaving their family, coming here to pursue this, like, being just in the air traveling, right? That's a dream for a lot of people. But for me, it was an opportunity. For a lot of people, it was a dream. Which, I was grateful for, but wasn't like I was dying to be in that position, right? It was cool. And I was disappointed, but I also, I would consider myself a pretty resilient person, right? Like, life happens to you. You just got to be proactive.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, the now you get to look back and be like, that was a good decision, something good thing that happened.
Yeah, the heartbreak fell into my lap, man. It was great.
Wow. So you've been a realtor for
About almost 3 years.
almost 3 years. Wow, wow, and you're doing great. Okay, so when did you know you had to implement? And first of all, quick question: did you just say I'm gonna focus on Instagram, or you like kind of tried, YouTube, the TikTok was a thing, probably was. Like how did it go when you focused on Instagram?
Well, dude, I started dancing on TikTok and I got no views. And I'm just playing. No, I don't know. People just started unsubscribing, man. All my friends were starting to jump off the boat now. But I was like, okay, so a good question. I studied. I'm a firm believer in just kind of like studying the people who have been successful on a platform before starting my own endeavor, because the last thing I want to do is try to come up with some new concepts and reinvent the wheel right off the bat. I feel like adopting, like, I don't know if you're a fan of hip hop or not, but like marrying a style and then just kind of like playing to, that style, adopting certain things from it and then just making your own.
Yeah,
So that was kind of the game for me, right? I looked at the people, like an aggregate of people that I really enjoyed watching that didn't seem annoying and salesy and sleazy and tacky, right? And I was just like, all right, this is dope. This is dope. This is dope. So I just started like making a little, like, literally this notes page is probably like, I don't know, 1,000 bullet point long. It's just like a bunch of things I wanted to do for social media. And every night I would just look at it and go, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. But my best advice for that is, if it works for somebody else, it'll work for you too. You just gotta study it. And then my whole thing is, if there's an idea that you have, you gotta do it today or tomorrow. If you wait more than 24 hours to do anything, you're just not gonna do it. You're just not gonna do it. It will leave your fucking brain. You're just not gonna do it.
true. True. There are times I come up with ideas, and if I don't take my phone out and write it down, my notes app, I'm like, I knew it was a good idea. I just forget it. That's so true.
Yeah. But yeah, your question with Instagram, man. I just knew that it worked for a couple other people at the time. It was it was like the amount of people that were doing what I'm doing now was just like the numbers were crazy lower, and it wasn't so saturated yet. Now everyone's doing it, right? Like everyone's trying to do video tours. Now I feel very fortunate to be ahead of the curve because the algorithm was so different back then, and now the platform, the landscape is so different now. But for me, I just knew that I didn't want to knock on doors and make calls every single day. So I wanted to bring value to the market besides trying to, you know, instead of being outbound, I wanted them to come to me. So I wanted to deliver enough value to where they'd be like, oh, this guy's super cool. I really want to connect with him versus the other way around.
Wow. I mean, that's super hard though. Like that's kind of easier said than done. Cause me as a new realtor, when I started, I was like, I'm a new realtor. Like everyone has to know who I am. I have to call my contacts. That's what my mentor was telling me. Go out, knock on some doors, introduce yourself and stuff. So, wow. Like, so you from the beginning, so you didn't try any cold calls or stuff like that?
I did for like 6 months with Laura, actually.
How was it?
It was fine. I mean, I feel like if I never did that, I would be miles behind on the conversation piece, right? Because even when people are reaching out to you, if you sound like a knucklehead, you're not gonna, you gotta be able to walk the walk too. Because Instagram, what it does for you, and marketing, this is where marketing, kind of draws a line with sales, right? In the sand. Marketing is being able to establish a audience of people that want to talk to you, right? Sales is being able to have the conversation professionally and effectively and convert these people or turn that interest into a client versus just a lead. Because that lead could reach out to 10 other people on Instagram. They probably are. I'm not the only one that they're talking to. But if I know my craft and I understand the market and I can deliver value, three things that we always preach in my team is quality, convenience, and experience.
Quality, convenience, and experience.
Yeah, if you're somewhere else in New York, or if you're in Florida on the East Coast, if you're in Cali, or if you're in Chicago or whatever, you don't have the convenience to be able to be boots on the ground, do the virtual tour, and things like that, right? And if I'm here, like on the ground, and you're trying to move over here, I better make you feel like you're here in person by doing virtual tours, knowing exactly what's out there. So they don't have to contact me, express interest in an area. Like, for example, you're in New York. If you're like, all right, hey, someone's like, I'm interested in Queens. You're not going to be like, oh, let me try to research Queens in the next 3 days and I'll get back to you.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why actually a really good idea would be to kind of go around the area and kind of showcase certain things so that people who are moving to Queens or, Texas, they could see and kind of get more of an idea on the ground, as you said.
Yeah. I mean, that's who you are, man. Like as a relocation expert, you better know your geography and what's actually in your market, right? People do cool flashy videos, but our advantage is that we've done it for so long now. We literally know the Dallas Fort Worth area like the back of our hand. I mean, you could ask me about anywhere north of Dallas, east and south of Dallas within an hour, and I could tell you everything.
Wow. Wow. I mean, there's so much more I want to know, but we are running out of time. But I'm gonna just keep asking you some questions
All
until
right, bro. Hit me with them.
um so what so like how did the Instagram like all right, what's the question I'm trying to ask right now? Would you say that it has benefited your business being on Instagram?
Yeah, man, it creates credibility. You have a name. There's some weight behind who you are. I've had people out in the field, like when I'm showing homes, other clientele that's going on showings with maybe other realtors literally walk up to me and go, I know who you are because I follow you on social media on Instagram. And these are
Wow.
random clients from other realtors, right? And then I see other realtors who I've called for to set up showings on listings and been like, and I'm like, hey, this is Zach. I'm with so and so. They're like, I know who you are. I saw your caller ID come up.
Wow.
And they already follow me. And then whenever I was, prospecting on people to bring onto my team, two people that I met that I ended up coming onto my team already followed me on Instagram. So it's just kind of like that. That already tells you the amount of, you know, um, credibility we have in the market. My business partner Laura, who is I run her entire Instagram account. So
Wow. So would you say so now because of this credibility you have, you think it's easier now for you? Like you think you have more benefits than people who don't have the credibility you have and the name, the power behind your name?
it doesn't do everything for you, but it definitely, if let's say everyone starts at 0%, it puts you maybe at 30%. And it creates this relationship where now you're in like this bubble with this prospect where everyone else is just fighting to get inside this bubble with this guy who's or girl who's wanting to buy a home. Now you're in this conversation with them. But if you don't know your shit, they're going to leave that bubble and go try to find somebody else. But your job is to know everything there is to know about what they're trying to do. And then that solidifies everything, right? Now this like arbitrary bubble turns into like a solid relationship. And now because what you're doing, they know that you know what you're doing. And so it just creates it creates a trusting relationship if you know what you're doing. Like you just got to know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that comes over time. I'm not saying everyone should do it right away, but you got to show up every single day. That's all I'm really trying to say with that.
So, all right, I'm a new realtor, right? Let's say I am 2 months into the business. I got a mentor. What would you recommend I do if the same thing you said? It's all been outbound. I'm reaching out to people. How do I get inbound like leads and people come to me?
Okay. So what are you doing for outbound right now?
Right now, I'm cold calling Fizbo's expireds. I'm cold calling my contacts list, letting people know that I do real estate.
Okay.
I'm even going outside. Hey, I'm a realtor, passing out my cards, door knocking.
Okay. So that right there, they have something of value to you, right? A home or an interest in buying a home. That's a value to you, right? How do you flip flop that? into you providing value to them without expecting anything in return versus you looking for that validation or that value and trying to get something in return.
And oh, maybe I could help them sell it. Like just give them tips on how to sell it, or I'm not sure.
Look at the marketplace as a whole and look at where people find value, right? So my philosophy, and I listen to a lot of Alex Hormozy. That's one of my favorite guys to ever like to just listen to as far as like, and you might check him out. He just speaks to me. He resonates with me. But his philosophy is if the amount of time consistently that you can deliver value to the marketplace, like imagine the marketplace is a piggy bank. And every single day you're dropping $1 in. Maybe you're dropping $10 in. When you put the more time you put in, the more money that you're putting into this piggy bank. And you're not breaking this piggy bank for a long ass time. The more money you put in that piggy bank, think about it as like when you break it, it's going to deliver you're going to get all this money, but you're going to get all this value, right? But you're going to fill it up as much as possible without breaking it. Because if you break it on day 3, it's going to be like, well, what can I buy with, $1.50? Like, it just doesn't make sense to try to receive and expect something in return after a short term of providing value. So my advice, man, my advice to you, Roger, is figure out a way to deliver value every single day consistently without fail, no exception. And I'm talking like no matter if you're sick, whatever, try to deliver value, man. Like whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be video. That's just my take on it, right? But try to deliver value without trying to ask for anything in return.
Wow. For how long should I do this? Like 3 months, 5, 6, a year?
You should do it for half a year. Evaluate, right? The whole point of it is you're going to evaluate what that looks like and how good you are now at delivering value, because you're going to suck at first at delivering whatever value you are. You might be super talented and you might be good, but normally 99% of the time you're going to suck. But the more that you try, the more that you deliver value, even if you're bad at it, like video, I was terrible at it. There was no value there. Nowadays, I built an audience and the videos have gotten so much better. Now I'm exponentially delivering value every single day to a larger audience, and now they're giving back.
Wow. I mean, talking about you a little bit, how'd you choose to, I think the home tours, is it because it was one of your ideas that you had in the big line, the list you had?
Yeah, so honestly, video, you got to think about it this way, man. What do we pay Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, Trulia? What do we pay those guys to do?
Give us leads.
Okay. And how does that happen? What do they do for us whenever we give them money?
Was it they give us the lead? I mean, they provided the information of the people.
Okay. What do they do with your profile?
Oh, they market it.
Yeah, they put it in the front page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How do they in the way that they do that? They usually have a home, and then your profile's underneath it, right?
Yeah.
So think about an Instagram page. You got your face right there, and then all these homes are right underneath it. And the algorithm is going to push it to your audience. If you're delivering value to a type of niche consumer, it's going to push it to that consumer. I'm reaching people from New York, from the East Coast, the West Coast, Chicago, Arizona, all the way to freaking Portugal. Like, I'm not even kidding. And they get value out of this because it's a style that they like and it resonates with them. And then you put your personality in there and take a cherry on top. Now you have a relationship. But on top of that relationship, you're providing value in the sense that you're delivering to them what they like. Think about your audience. Think about how to deliver to them. If you make them happy, they'll make you happy.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you, Zack. That's gold right there. Think about your audience. Think about what they like. Deliver values to them that'll make them happy, and they'll make you happy. That's fire right there.
Yeah, bro. Like it'll pay itself off, man. Just start doing things that you think you're like, oh, this person would love this. Imagine like thinking about gifting someone in your like, niche, right? Like you're just giving and just don't think about getting it back. You're just giving because it's in good faith. If you give in good faith, the law of reciprocation is going to come back to you.
Wow. Awesome.
Cool, bro. I know we're almost out of time. I don't want to cut you off short, man, but
Yeah.
you think you want to ask me? Final thoughts.
Uh, where can people find you?
Instagram, Zack.DallasRealtor is my handle. YouTube, Move Me to Dallas is with spaces in between each word is our handle.
Okay. Okay, cool. And do you have any plans for 2023 and beyond?
Yeah, we're going to triple down on our YouTube channel. The production quality is going to be absolutely off the chain. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I'm just trying to be more consistent, build out my team, support my clients, and give back to the people that are giving to us. And we love our people.
Thank you so much, Zach. Thanks for coming along, man.
Roger, back at you, bro. Let me know if you need anything, and